Now it is. Hello. Um, I am Nathan Cox, and I have decided to do this video. I have been considering doing it for a while, and I was gonna make it like scripted or whatever, but figure out I should probably come from the heart. Um, this is about my story, real quickly. Um, uh, long story short, and that is pretty difficult for me to do. So let's make a short story long. For the course of 15 years, I wrote a story of which I called Behind the Smile. This story is about a guy who, it starts off in high school about a guy who has Asperger's and depression, struggles with his sexuality, and has an imagination that threatens to kill him constantly. Um, I've been talking about this story for God knows how long. Throughout, I guess since 2005. On and off. That's when it began. And, to put it quite frankly, um, I am that guy. So, each story in my saga of this series, known as Behind the Smile, is a different format, and each story becomes more fictional than the last story. Most of the time, at least. So kind of the fictional side sort of takes over the behind the smile story aspect. But at the same time, it didn't really begin that way entirely. Behind the Smile, the first 6 stories are seasons to a TV series. Behind the Smile is the original series. The sole reason I call it a saga because there's already a series in it, a TV series. And there was so much that happened in those 5 years, actually. I'm not gonna be like a bars and give you the whole entire details of all the story of everything that happened in one little video because that's just not something I can do. I have written, this is my biggest accomplishment in life. Yeah, that sounds like the, um, most modest way to put it, I guess. My biggest accomplishment is this story, although I am non, um, I'm not accredited for almost any of it, as in I don't have any kind of formal credit besides, officially writing it. I have written 2,000 pages, give or take, of story throughout this 15 stories a long saga. As of December 31st, 2020, I told myself I am not allowed to write any more concept works for this series again, because I need to take it to the next level, or write something else, because I got way too many story ideas in my head that are completely 100% irrelevant to this Behind the Smile saga. So, that's where I am at now. In the production phases, the pre-production phases, I'm a big stickler in authenticity. If I can get the right use the original names, original likenesses, film in the original places, if I can, let's do it. If I can't, oh well. Most of the people will say, just change the place's name, just change the person's name. Most TV shows do it all the time anyway, apparently. I don't want to do that. It's something. I mean, I'll do it if I have to, but it's something. I don't know. More fake about it. I don't know why. I don't want to delve into that aspect of creativity of creating a whole new alias of a character. That I don't really need to do if I don't need to. Hypothetically, either more real or better. So I'm going to delve real quickly into what happens in this story. How about I summarize the story in just 3 minutes? Not the whole entire story. Way too much to ask for. Just the series. And I bet you I can. Because I'm a storyteller. You know? I mean, heck, I boast about how I can tell the story of my parents' life and how they're and in their housing life in the course of 20 years, and there was a lot to tell in just 1 minute, and I do it all the time. So, long story short, again, basically, Behind the Smile season 1 deals with me in, well, high school, my last year of high school. That's right, you wait until your very last year of high school to put me in special ed, as I was going through a lot of Asperger's moments, being attracted to some kid that I thought was gay after some guy was making fun of him. And then realizing he probably was homophobic, whether he was or wasn't, I don't know. Meanwhile, there was an imagined war that was starting to brew, and I was starting to get, okay, you don't see that, but I do, sorry, certain imaginary powers. I drop out of high school, move to evening high school, continue classes there, and I'm also torn at the same time with religion, okay? Between my sexuality and religion, by season 2 of the show, I'm going to a church, see this guy, somehow, too many details to tell you right now, how, but feel this strong inclination to be friends with this guy, and somehow I really can, and feel as if this guy can help me, well, not be gay, or whatever, I don't know. Well, give it 1 month later, and guess what happens? I'm talking to him while he's walking to his truck, and he calls sexual harassment on me, and not allowed back at that church. And you know what that does to my anxiety? It doesn't do a good number, I'll tell you that much. And it also doesn't do a good number to the idea that maybe I can be straight, because now this one guy who I thought could help me change, well, can't, because he's saying I'm sexually harassing him. I graduate from evening high school, and 3 months later, and start exploring my sexuality a lot more. And that's where season 3 comes into play. The imagined war is brewing more and more. These little generals of sorts, I don't know, like creature generals, attack me. This giant military type base or whatever. It's not that big, but this base is built right next to my house. And then I have my first kiss, and then I have my first boyfriend, and after my first breakup, I have an imaginary boyfriend who we break up for obvious reasons. He's imaginary. But he ends up dying as part of the imaginary story. Well, not dying, but attacked, goes into a coma. My arch enemy also goes into a coma. They go into this machine called Bookworm, and then this 1 million man militia starts scouring the whole entire world to attack the alien race that is basically trying to fight against my arch enemy. So the course of 1 year, this 1 million man militia goes, marches around the world, attacks all their bases. I could tell the story in 3 minutes. Okay, I can't. Give me 2 more minutes. Almost done. So I barely have any friends. So sad. But actually, no. By season 4, I get tons of friends. I call them my fellowship of friends. Okay, let's see here. There's John and Casey and Larry and Paul and Mary and Nick and Bob and Nick and yeah, and you get the idea. So we become friends and then we split. Yeah, and then there's Jess, forgot her. Can I touch your butt? Yeah, that girl. So that gets fun to have a crush on two of my best friends. And I'm touring about going out with one of them, while trying to read this book. That's a whole different story. Flash forward to this 1 million man militia war. It ends. The war gets close to home, where I live, and it's going under attack. And now, I become basically the leader of the war. No, that's fun, but not really. And by the year 2009, near the end of season 5. The war's over after I killed my arch enemy finally, and also the vampires that he allied with, and I also allied with. War, ain't it fun? But what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Believe it or not, and most of you probably wouldn't believe it, but I do actually suffer now from PTSD from the things I experienced in this imaginal war. Most people would be like, it's imagined. Well, I would imagine, no pun intended, that most people would think that, but neurologically, things trigger me. And if the things that I experienced in my imagination were real, I have tons of reason um, to be traumatized. So yeah, that's seasons 1 through 5. Season 6. Well, I'm not going to go through season 6. It was short and sweet. After the end of the war, well, Natalie gets pregnant. I don't know. She gives birth. Casey gets in an accident. Sean gets to his first breakup, learns on virginity, something like that. And my parents and I, my brother, we lose our house after it gets flooded. I told you there was something to talk about with my parents' house. So they live in a hotel for a year and a half while the house gets remediated. And then shortly later, they move back after that. And a few months later, it gets flooded again. And then they live in a hotel for another 9 months. It gets remediated again. They move back, and then it gets flooded again. Okay, that's the story. That's half of the story of my parents' history with living situation. Gotcha. Okay, now we live here in this bright room with a radioactive canister and my community college and high school degrees, diploma, whatever. And I'm trying to get my life my career off the ground now. And after all this, oh, I don't want to make this video much longer. Yeah, I don't want to bore you to death. Not that my story has been boring or anything, because my story can easily be found in any documentation that you would like to read. Behind the Smile seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. With all that together is a little over 100. What's 5-page concept documents per episode for 110 episodes total, so that'd be about 550 or so pages. Plus, there is a movie that sequels that, Behind the Smile, Battle of Baltimore Breakdown, and then a video game that I love to describe as Behind the Smile, Escape the World is what it's called. I love to describe it as Assassin's Creed and Splinter Cell in gameplay while continuing the Behind the Smile story. You play as, the assassin who trains yourself to be an assassin, to kill the assassin who attempted to kill you. The climax to that story is concluded in the 1-hour special Behind the Smile Alter the Ending, and there's I guess it's going to be, I don't know what it is, a four-issue comic book series. I'm decided about that one. Behind the Smile, Black Ring Bear Project, Chemically Unbalanced. Then there's Year Zero, Flashbacks of the Imagination, and finally the 4-part miniseries, 2012 Conclusion. That all comes before the 7-year-long End of the World book, and Behind the Smile Origins, which is a novella, which is the only one that's almost 100% finished. And then finally, later that same day, No Masm, which is short for No More Smile, which takes place on a distant planet in a new planet in a new universe after this universe has been destroyed. Talk about sci-fi. So, I'm gonna call it quits with this video soon. I wanted to get my story out there in video format. If you'd like to read anything, absolutely anything I've just described to you, or more importantly, would be willing to help in any way, shape, or form to get this story off the ground, I would be. There's a word for it. I cannot think of it at the moment, but greatly appreciated would probably be the right word for it. Yeah. If you can do that, or pass this video along. I also have a GoFundMe page, for production, which there hasn't been a single donation yet. So, how about I just post a link to that GoFundMe page in this in the description of this video. I don't know what else to say. I wish I could say more, and I can, but I don't want to talk too much. So, let me just move along. Maybe I'll post another video like this if anyone wants to see more, because honestly, there's way too much to talk about. Sorry. Those 15 years of my life, especially the 6 years that I referred to, well, 5 years, I guess, whatever, 2005, 2010, um, were exciting to say the least. To quote Rush, I would never trade tomorrow for today. Yeah.